The pace of IT is increasing all the time, from the pressures of competition to the demands of innovation. But to scale, operations must manage infinitely flexible architectures. The modern stack is growing in complexity and impossible to manage manually. If you're automating, you're on the right path. Yet enterprise automation is often done in silos, small teams writing scripts, different tools for different domains. While the script may help you automate a function, an integrated system can help you automate your entire organization. Ansible gives you an open, universal automation language to break down automation silos. Because for automation to scale, it must be simple to adopt, simple to use. When you create a system of automation that spans the enterprise, you not only transform IT operations, you accelerate your entire business.
Good morning. My name is Rob McMahon. I look after the cloud, automation and storage business for Red Hat, and it's my pleasure today to welcome you here to the UK's Ansible Automate. This is the 10th event that we've run in the last 2.5 months, and so we've been traveling around Europe, although I can safely say this is the largest that we've had so far. If you're looking for a seat, we do have a few seats over on this side. You'll have to sort of shimmy past the AV guys. But there's lots of space, so please make yourselves comfortable. We have a very full day for you today, and we also have a lot of coffee and a lot of biscuits and a lot of cakes, and it's thanks to Intel that we have this room and that we're able to host this. So a big thank you to Intel for allowing us to bring you all together to talk about automation and specifically Ansible. So this is the agenda. We're going to start with a warm-up on automation everywhere from Tim Apnell, some Ansible best practices, a little bit about the networking infrastructure, and some security automation. We will have breaks throughout the day, so don't worry, this isn't going to be, the doors won't be locked, you won't be kept in here the entire time. In the afternoon, we'll have automation culture, automating Windows, enterprise demo, and finally some Q&As at the end of the day. So a little bit about the housekeeping. I've been assured that there are no fire drills today, so if the alarms do go off, it will be for real. The fire exit is just over on this side, so please stand up and calmly make your way out. The staff and the Red Hat associates will direct you outside to safety. Hopefully that won't be needed, but what will be needed will be the breaks. We have 25-minute break at 11 a.m. and another 25-minute break at 5 to 3. Lunch will be 12:25 to 13:25, and like I said, the closing Q&A and some networking drinks to follow afterwards. Please use the hashtag Ansible Automates London on any tweets you're making this morning. During the break, we're going to have a silent theatre. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a silent theatre. It'll be just outside the doors and to the left. There'll be 50 headsets, and there'll be a 10-minute presentation from Gundalo, who will be at 11 o'clock, and there'll be another one at 14:55. So make your way out there, grab a headset, grab a seat, and listen to the presentation inside the silent theatre. Also at lunchtime, we'll have 2 more presentations, observations and learning from the field, and the tower and the data center demo. Finally, we have a meetup on Thursday. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go through the day. But that's the community event in Ansible London, and I believe it's in Holborn in the Sainsbury's building, but we'll give you some more information about that this afternoon. So what I'd like to do now is invite our first speaker, Tim Apnell, to come up to the stage. Tim is a senior product manager and is over from corporate to come and talk to us today. So Tim. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out. It's always a pleasure to get to speak to users and customers of Red Hat and Ansible about Ansible. As Rob said, my name is Tim Apnell. I'm a senior product manager with the Ansible team. And I'm what I like to call a full life cycle Ansible person. I was a contributor to Ansible before, when Ansible was just a project and not even a company. I later, as a development manager for a large bank in America, was a customer of Ansible's, later left that company and joined Ansible as a consultant doing services, and later became a Red Hatter when Ansible joined the Red Hat family. So I've seen it from all sides. Today, though, I'm going to begin with some perspectives on automation and how Ansible and Red Hat can help. So we're faced with numerous challenges in IT. You live them every day. Regardless of your role or responsibility, you have a difficult job to do. Effort takes time. Time means money. But there's also a human cost. There's effort takes humans. In the end, we're just people. We're people trying to work with other people and to get machines to do our bidding for us. And your reasons for wanting to automate are pretty straightforward. You're tired of doing the same things over and over again. You're tired of the tedious work. Automation makes our jobs easier, and it makes our lives easier. It presents an opportunity to do more. But the realities are IT environments are conspiring against us. I remember a time when I could walk into a server room. In fact, it wasn't even a server room. It was more like a server closet with a fan on it. And I could walk up to a machine and say, oh, that's my web server. This is running my database. This machine here is running my email server. Today, we have virtualization. We have clouds. We have containers. We have hosted applications. We're managing more than ever before. And with all of that comes a great deal of change. It's only accelerating. There's more systems, more users, more data centers, credentials to manage, networking devices, security, so many things. And that only drives complexity. Our applications and our services are more interconnected than ever before. We've never seen this level in our time. And everything gets more expensive with complexity. Despite that complexity, though, expectations are higher than ever. Competitive pressures, expectations of our customers, of our management, our business owners. It's now 24/7, 5 nines. There are no maintenance windows. There are no downtime anymore. It feels like an intractable problem. It feels insurmountable. And it's what makes our jobs so difficult. So automation is the only way to succeed. Automation is for people. It's not a threat. It's a great opportunity to do more with the resources at hand. Automation isn't about finding a way to make a team of 5 as productive as a team of 10. Automation is about taking a team of 10 and making them as productive as a team of 100. It's because when you automate and you solve a problem, you only have to solve it once, and then everyone on your team knows how to solve that. Junior people on your team become more valuable and contribute more. New members of your team can get up to speed and begin contributing faster and sooner. Automation allows you to develop or deliver more value to your businesses sooner and faster. And we know the power of automation, otherwise we wouldn't be here today. If it weren't for automation, we'd probably be back in our offices manually editing configuration files and applying patches and bringing processes up and down. What we're talking about here today is what we're doing at Ansible to help you automate faster. to bring more technologies together and to help your teams communicate and automate together so you can extend the power of Ansible and automation to your entire organization. So we're working to help extend Ansible by helping you integrate more technologies and empower the teams that you integrate, the teams to integrate better together. It all begins with a single app and a simple configuration used by one team. It's probably how many of you have gotten started with Ansible. It's certainly my story. When I was a development manager at the bank, it began with me trying to solve a simple problem that my team had. From there, it's very easy, it's predictable, things are relatively simple, but then it grows from there. We're happily automating, things are going great, but that's just you. If you look around the room, many people around you identify with different parts of the IT value chain. Things that you automate in your individual domains become the building blocks for future capabilities. Even the simplest of automations is just a piece of a larger story. Each of these areas typically have its own tools and different vendors, their own certifications, their own philosophies, their own APIs, their own ways of working together. Ansible unites them. Ansible enables rapid deployments and testing and prototyping and new ideas to deliver capabilities in your enterprises and get them into the hands of innovators on your team. When you've automated, you can easily adopt the technology of the future and adapt to change. So back to that one person automating one problem. The reality is we all have many problems to solve. And the value of a tool is how quickly and rapidly you can get there in solving that problem. So how do we accelerate our efforts so that we can do more quickly, respond to the demands of our customers, users, and management? We want to help you automate faster. We want to help teams automate, extend use cases, and make it easier to get started automating. We need to make it easier for all teams to communicate those automations to one another. And it happens with customers. We see it all the time. They start with 100 nodes, fixing one problem, and then that begins to grow, and they find new problems, and it begins to scale as they find more use cases for automating. We see this happening every day. Within our customers, we see them start with a few systems here, a few systems there, and then it grows and grows and grows. In our first 4 years, it took us 4 years to get up to 1 million nodes under management with Ansible Tower. It took us another 7 months to reach 2 million. So the pace of automation is accelerating. One of the core reasons why Ansible automation is growing at such a rapid rate is that it's simple to use and fast to get rolling. Anybody can pick up the basics in an hour and be productive in less than a day. This is a quote we got from Jeff Geerling, aka Geerling Guy, from the Share Your Automation Story campaign we did last year. Is there everyone familiar with Jeff Geerling at all? You should be if you're not. Jeff is one of our most prolific community members and has actually written a book on Ansible that he self-publishes. I'm often asked, what book do you recommend? I always recommend Jeff's book, so definitely check out his book, buy it. It's great. He updates it frequently since he publishes himself. So it's great book. So another way we want to help you solve more problems faster is expanding Ansible to help you push the boundaries of how you automate. Part of what we do on a daily basis is go out to users like yourself and find out what is it you're trying to automate and then to find ways to make that possible, how to automate that and strive for that simplicity to make things frictionless. Ansible began with servers and applications, particularly in the Linux space. Very rapidly, we expanded on to Windows and the cloud. We're now the de facto standard in network automation. And we've moved on to other things such as containers and middleware automation. So the use cases for Ansible continue to grow. And now we've announced a new focus on security automation. This Ansible security automation is my server compliant? People have been doing that for years with Ansible by running playbooks to make sure that there are no unique snowflakes in their environment, that everything is set up as expected. Ansible security automation is going to be about validating and remediating security problems in a repeatable, easy, rapid way. It's enabling security teams to be more proactive rather than reactive in what they do. And also it is to bundle together all these disparate security tools that are out there. Ansible security automation is not about replacing those tools. There's great tools out there and vendors who really understand what it takes to secure your environments. Ansible security automation is about bringing them together so that they work in that repeatable, frictionless way. So later on, Faz will be presenting on this particular topic, so you'll be hearing more. Okay. So in order to enable every team to automate, together with our community, we've been growing the capabilities of our automation platform in all facets of IT. The scope of our capabilities continues to increase, so do the integrations, aka modules. This is a chart from some data that one of our engineers ran. Just over, it'd be almost 3 years ago, we were at 500 modules that shipped inside of Ansible Engine. With the release of version 2.7 in September, we are up over 2,100 modules. So if I'm doing my math correctly this morning, it's about a 400% increase in the integrations and the tools that you get out of Ansible, out of the box. The next version, looking like we're going to come in around 2,400, and it's quite likely that within a year we'll reach 3,000 modules inside of Ansible. So even with this wild growth of Ansible's capabilities and the integrations in which we can handle when you install Ansible, it hasn't helped answer several key questions. How should I be automating? What's the best way to automate? Can I trust my automation? So as the integrations continue to grow, we'll be the first to admit that not all Ansible content is created equally. We need to do more, and we've come up with a way to define the trust that you've come to expect from us. And that's the Ansible Certified Content Program. It's trusted automation solutions that are fully supported. With the certified Ansible content, customers get the reliability that they've come to expect, the predictability that they've come to expect from Red Hat, the type of solutions that you expect to get from Red Hat. So with the help of our launch partners, we're defining that now, starting with modules today and coming soon roles also. So we're very excited by this. This is just the beginning of what we're going to do in this space. And all of these enhancements are built on the foundation of Ansible Engine and Ansible Tower. Since we are Red Hat, all of these products are based on open source. Just a show of hands, who's using AWX right now in their jobs? Okay, it's a good amount. How many are using Ansible Tower in their jobs? Okay, we got to work on that one. So for those of you who aren't familiar, AWX is the upstream open source project that feeds into the Ansible Tower product. We also have Ansible Core, the command line tool we all know and love that began Ansible itself. That's the upstream project to Ansible Engine. So going over our roadmap a little bit, right now the stable version of Ansible Engine is version 2.7. The focus of that release was around performance and scale. It was extremely important on the front of mind to all of our engineers that are working on it. They made some significant memory improvements. They've found to have 40% lower memory utilization now on the same jobs going from version 2.6 to 2.7. So that was a really great achievement that they made. There's a lot of new modules, as I already mentioned, particularly in the area of VMware, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. In the network space, did a lot of work with copying files to network devices and support of NetConf. And we also added capabilities around InfoBlocks. We got a lot of requests from our enterprise customers that were using InfoBlocks that they wanted to automate that technology with Ansible. We worked with InfoBlocks to make that happen. Version 2.8 is the version that's currently under development right now. We'll probably be doing a release candidate in March, aiming for a release sometime in May. A lot of the focus there will be around, well, there'll be plugins for privilege escalations, the ability to write alternatives to sudo. We've had some of those built in, but they've never been pluggable. We heard from our customers that they were looking to be able to control and extend those things, so we'll be adding those in 2.8. We'll also be doing a lot of work to make external content easier and more possible with Ansible Engine. So while we ship all these modules and plugins today, we want to enable the ability for that type of content to come from the outside and be added to Engine more easily. So a lot of work is going into that. And another area that we are looking to expand in 2.8 is the capabilities of roles to be more flexible, more easy to reuse, more easy to share and be more portable. Bring them more parity to the way modules work today into roles. So look forward to that in the coming months from us. And then there's, of course, Ansible Tower. We actually just released 3.4, and I didn't get to update this deck. So 3.3, just to review, was deployable in OpenShift. Did a lot with granular permissions so that it's much easier to control who has the permission and the ability to do different automation tasks there. A lot of improvements to the scheduler and the ability to performance increases with isolated nodes. Isolated nodes are a way to do disconnected automation in a way in different data centers and actually disconnect from the main tower system during that time. We have just in reviewing isolated nodes, we have a customer who runs a fleet of ships, and they're trying to automate systems on the ships, and the ships are on very weak, kind of unreliable connections. They're able to use these isolated nodes to send an automation job, lose contact, have the automation run on the ships, and once the ships come back into coverage, receive back the results of that automation. So it's a really nice feature that I actually think was introduced in 3.2. We've added improvements in performance there. Moving on to 3.4, which, like I said, just shipped, I think, a little over a week ago, maybe a little bit more. We have job slicing and the ability to do execution scale out. So Tower can now take very large jobs, cut it into pieces, and send it across multiple Tower worker nodes in your cluster. And the ability to have more flexible on-demand scaling of that Tower working workers in your cluster. They've also done a lot of work in the area of workflows. You can now have nested workflows. You can also have coordinated workflows where you can run two at the same time and one will wait until the other one completes before moving on. So I believe that's workflow convergence. That was the name I was looking for. So that's for 3.4 that, like I said, just shipped and is now available. 3.5 is coming, the roadmap's being nailed down right now. Number one on the list for 3.5 is going to be RHEL 8 compatibility. We are going to be able to run Ansible Tower on RHEL 8 when it releases day one. That also means switching to Python 3. We're going to have full Python 3 compatibility. The Tower team is also doing a lot with metrics inside of Tower, the ability to collect and view and analyze how your automation is running and what's being done inside of it. And then the last thing that I am aware of that is going to be shipping in 3.5 are built-in integrations for credential vaults, such as HashiCorp Vault and CyberArk system, so that your credentials don't have to live inside a tower. If you have a centralized system such as CyberArk, you're able to have Tower pull the credentials necessary right from those instead of having them live inside of Tower. So these two products work together to provide the perfect combination of automating. Engine provides a simple, powerful, agentless automation, and Tower provides all the control, audit, and collaborations your organization demands. We also have Ansible Galaxy. Ansible Galaxy is the hub to make it easier to find and share Ansible content. We have really big plans for Galaxy in updating the functionality and the capabilities of what it can do. Galaxy is becoming a key piece of the Ansible ecosystem along with the Certified Content Program. Late last year at Ansible Fest, we recently announced that we adopted two community projects, one called Molecule and another one called Ansible Lint. Molecule is a testing framework that is designed to aid in the development and testing of Ansible roles, and it provides all the different mechanisms that you need to really make sure that what you're automating is going to work as expected and continues to work as expected as you make changes to it. Ansible Lint is a command line static analysis tool, and that checks playbooks and roles to identify what behavior could be improved and making sure that you're keeping up to the standards and the style that is going to help your automation stay stable and readable for the rest of your teams working with it. Something new we just announced also a week ago is Ansible Fest. It's our large, it's getting quite large user festival. It's all Ansible all the time. It's going to be in Atlanta this year. Last year we were in Austin and had about 1,400 attendees. We had 5 or 6 multi-tracks across the 2 days. A lot of our users, also a lot of our engineers are there too that work on Ansible itself. We also have our contributor conference that John Barker Gundalo, who's here, runs. So it's a really great event. So if you fancy a trip over the pond, Atlanta is very easy to reach from here. Feel free to stop on by. The call for proposals, if you're interested in speaking, will be opening in March. Ticket sales will go on sale in May, shortly after Red Hat Summit. And on that topic, actually, if you want to, Red Hat Summit this year is going to be May 7th to the 9th in Boston. I heard they put on a hell of a tea party, so you should really check out that event too. All right, so moving on from Ansible, hopefully I've convinced you of the power of Ansible. Let's talk a little bit about the Red Hat and how the Red Hat family amplifies what we do on the Ansible team. Red Hat has deep understanding of not only open source, but the hard technical problems in making things scale. We know how to tackle these challenging problems and apply it to open source methodologies. And then take that open source methodology and package it up and test it and stabilize it and deliver it as an enterprise product that you've come to expect. whether it's containers, virtualization, middleware, management products, and of course, RHEL. Red Hat has you covered. And it doesn't stop there, of course, because Red Hat will be there when you need them, whether it's support and all of our engineers that man those teams, or it's the consulting services when you need extra hands or that bit of expertise to deploy open source technologies in a way that's going to deliver the most value to your enterprise. So being part of the Red Hat family has its benefits. We really understand open source and enterprise customers. I'm contractually obligated to show you these numbers and point out that Red Hat is the world's leading provider of open source and enterprise IT solutions. So we're pretty big in what we do. And speaking of taking it up to 11, we had some news at the end of last year that you may have heard of, maybe not, I don't know. But Red Hat's entered into an agreement to be acquired by IBM pending all regulatory and financial approvals. You probably know as much as I do at this point, but our companies intend to bring together their resources and their expertise, Red Hat's knowledge of open source methodologies and hybrid cloud and our culture in that space, and IBM bringing just the depth and the breadth and relationships that they have and global coverage. All are going to come together into one company around the world once the deal goes through. Red Hat is going to remain an independent business unit of IBM, and our CEO, Jim Whitehurst, will be heading up that business unit. So continue to expect great things from Red Hat and IBM together. Hello? God, is that you? All right. So let's take a brief look at real-world customers, just a couple that have been automating with Ansible and found great success in what they're doing with Ansible there. And this one, the first one, I think is one close to home, and that's the British Army. The British Army adopted Ansible. My understanding is when preparing for war, oops, sorry, doesn't work. So it was very important to them to be able to roll out patches to key infrastructure for security purposes and also just the maintenance of their system, that they work when they're needed. And they were able to reduce their delivery time in rolling out those type of patches and updates to their systems by 75%. So we're talking about that accelerating their deployments of these emergency patches that were taking them 3 days and getting them down to 3 hours. So it not only did it help them with their speed, it improved their consistency and reduced the number of manual errors that would happen across that 3-day manual process when they cut it down to 3. So once again, apparently, I've not been in the military. Oops, sorry, doesn't work when you're preparing for war. Another customer, and this is one of our network cases, is a company called SureScripts. They handle all the prescription systems inside the US for filling prescriptions between doctors and pharmacies. And this was integrating F5 systems. So SureScripts is running a lot of F5 and having to do a lot of steering data traffic between data centers and different endpoints in their system. They rolled out Ansible, like I said, automating their F5 systems and settings, and were able to reduce their downtime of manual errors and really improve their productivity and efficiency. I believe that they, what was taking them a few days, they now had under 2 hours, and they reduced the number of errors that would happen while making all of these DNS and networking changes dramatically by rolling out Ansible automation. Okay. So to summarize today's, our role at Ansible is to help you push the boundaries of automation. It's to make your work easier and faster through integrating more technologies and more teams. For the people in this room, what you automate and share is the world accelerates. You are making work for everyone easier and faster. You're helping to make sure that people spend more time doing meaningful work and not solving the same tedious problems over and over again, doing all these things manually. Automation creates opportunities, and we see opportunities for automation everywhere. Thank you very much. We have a lot of great presenters and more in-depth material on all these topics here and also out in the at the Silent Theater. So please stick around, and happy automating. Thanks, everyone.